Our country has been looted, pillaged, raped, and plundered by nations near and far, both friend and foe alike. American steel workers, auto workers, farmers, and skilled craftsmen. We have a lot of them here with us today. They really suffered gravely. They watched in anguish as foreign leaders have stolen our jobs, foreign cheaters have ransacked our factories, and foreign scavengers have torn apart our once beautiful American dream. We're going to build our future with American hands, with American heart, American steel, and we're going to build it with American pride like we used to.
That's President Trump signing an executive order enacting reciprocal tariffs yesterday with a baseline tariff of at least 10% for all countries beginning this Saturday. The White House confirming that steel, aluminum, and other precious metals are excluded from the reciprocal tariffs in order to provide relief to domestic buyers. Joining me now is Zekelman Industries Chairman and CEO Barry Zekelman. Barry, it's great to have you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Maria.
Now, there's already a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum. You say the tariffs on steel were not steep enough. You say they should have been higher so that it would be anti-competitive to dump cheap steel in America. Tell us more.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone needs to remember, first off, it was a momentous day. We were there with 7 of our teammates. I mean, it's great for America, and kudos to President Trump and the administration for playing this long game. It will bring manufacturing back. It will bring great paying jobs back, and it will be prosperous for America. So it was a really wonderful day. And of course, it's hard to please everyone, and the devil's in the details. I think we need to remember that 232 duties on steel and aluminum have been in place since 2018. Some countries got exempt out of that during negotiations, and it has been reinstated. But the worst offenders have still been shipping under those 25% tariffs for many years because they're really a proxy to China, moving really cheap steel through in other products and then transshipping it into our country. So, you know, what's happened is the imports have remained at about 2 million tons a month. Under these tariffs now, we were hoping that the tariffs would be stacked on top of it. So the worst offenders, for instance, would really get penalized and curb those imports. The likes of Taiwan and Vietnam and Thailand and Korea, who are shipping in massive amounts of steel. I think you heard the president say that this will be great for the steel industry, which has been deemed a critical industry, as is oil and gas and energy. I think the general public doesn't understand that 40% of the oil and gas that we explore, drill, and transport for in the U.S. is done by way of foreign pipe and steel. 40%. 50% of the water that touches your lips, that goes to your children's mouths, that you bathe in, that we process our food in, that flows through restaurants and hospitals and data centers to cool it, 50% of that water flows through foreign pipe. So how are we protecting critical industries when we're subjecting them to massive amounts of imports in pipe and tube, especially energy? It's alarming. I mean, imagine if we got cut off from that. How would we explore for oil and gas? How would we transport that? How would we build LNG plants? So we have to knock that out and put that into domestic production. So what we're asking for is those tariffs be stackable. And the worst offenders would get hurt. I really applaud the administration for taking down the temperature with Canada and Mexico and not putting reciprocal duties on. It shows that Canada and Mexico are trying to be good partners and have done their job at the border and are curbing the fentanyl and are doing other things. And you know, again, the devil's in the details.
So you wanted, I mean, look, I spoke with you right after the tariffs yesterday. You were upset. You said, you know, foreigners who dump the steel in the U.S. should be paying more. And you just mentioned a handful of countries. You're saying that steel is coming from China, but it's getting diverted and coming through markets like Taiwan, Korea, et cetera. You just had a whole list of countries there. Is that what's going on?
Yes. Yeah, and you know, the example is this, and this has been going on for a long time. I'll give you water pipe that I just mentioned. Chinese steel goes to Vietnam for $450 a ton. They put a little value add to it, make it into pipe, ship it over here, and they're selling it at $900 or $1,000 a ton. Today, U.S. steel I have to buy here to make that pipe costs me $850 a ton. There's absolutely no way we can transform it into pipe and tube and compete with steel today that's coming in from Vietnam and Thailand and Taiwan and Korea at those numbers. It's over, right? We can't compete. So if you had stackable tariffs on that, for instance, Vietnam would be hit with 46% on top of that. Now we're talking. So, if you really want to curb this, and the single biggest product category, we're talking about pipe and tube that I'm talking about. And of course, look, I'm selfish. It's the category I deal in. It's 5 million tons a year in an average year. When drill baby drill starts happening, it's going to go up to 7. Just for context, 7 million tons is 2 of the new Hyundai steel mills full. And this is an instantaneous change. This isn't build a steel mill and in 3 or 4 years we have production. This is overnight. This is tomorrow. This would catapult all of the U.S. steel producers into 85 to 90% production rates.
Yeah.
It would be phenomenal, and we would be self-sufficient. So we have to push these out and get our energy with American steel.
Are you going to be raising prices regardless at this point?
We've raised prices, yes, because steel in the U.S. a couple months ago was $600 a ton. Now it's $850. $600 was too low. All right. So people are saying, well, it's inflationary for steel. Steel at $600 is not sustainable. The steel industry will not survive. At $850, it's good. It's just like oil. Oil at $30, while the consumer may like it, you're not going to have an energy industry. Oil at $100 or $120 isn't good either. But at $70, $80, $85, $90 a barrel, it's a number that is palatable for everyone.
Okay.
It's profitable for the industry, and it'll bring exploration and expansion.
All right, really important points that you make, Barry. We so appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. I appreciate it.
All right, Barry Zekelman there.